I am in the midst of the fire of God, pulsating from within. I send my pulsating flame to each light bearer in the earth, within the earth, beyond the earth. I send this flame then to each one who would serve the flame of God through self-effacement. Accepting then the non-acceptance of human pride, I enter the precincts of your beings. I salute all keepers of the flame throughout the world who share in the growing Antakarana, the great web of light that is made up of so many souls who are on the path of the ascended masters, yet perhaps not tied to this activity and this inner walk with God that all of you share. I have striven mightily over the years, beloved ones, to reach levels of higher and higher consciousness, that I might be worthy to so give to God and to humanity the fruits of my causal body. These are fruits from my tree of life, from the very beginning, when we were one in God, and all twin flames were as one fiery ovoid. From that moment, beloved, we remained for some time in holy innocence, and then with the coming of laggards, fallen angels, and attacks upon the souls of many in the earth, the compromise took place, and most all who are here this night, if not all, came down the chute into duality and began mighty efforts to regain that level of perfection in God which they once knew. We have all known these heights, beloved, and to these heights we aspire to return. Therefore, on this, the celebration of my Ascension Day, I come to you with great and profound love. I speak to you then regarding what I have been doing since the years of my absence from among you. What I have been doing, beloved, is to sow the seeds of Christ's magnificence in all light bearers of this planet, this solar system, and wherever the fires of my heart might reach across the galaxies. I have sent light waves almost beyond the stars, beloved, to claim one soul of light, one sheep who has gone astray. I have worked tirelessly in the service of the Great White Brotherhood, for I have desired to fulfill my reason for being, that I might give you more and more and more of my causal body. Therefore, on this occasion, I also give you more. And I trust that you will understand, as many have told you, how much more difficult it is to erase karma by doing good works when you are out of the body in the etheric octave. Thus, I counsel you to accelerate mightily, that you might have the fulfillment of your manifestation of karma, so as the great law has allowed it, so as the great law has blessed you. In these days of great and major change in this organization, I am especially with you one and all, from the least unto the greatest. And I give to each one that which is meet, comprehensible, that which the individual may internalize and digest, and therefore give acceleration to this community. It is a wondrous thing to enter the new age of Aquarius and to have such wonderful leadership in this organization. And I, your beloved Lanello, bow to each and every one of you who is in a leadership position, and to all of you whom I count as leaders. for you are leading someone beside yourself every day of your life. You are setting an example. It is shouted from the rooftops, as I have mentioned before, when the television sets sent forth their focuses on the roofs of the houses of the nations. So we have understood that we are shouting the message from the housetops of the worlds, connection by connection. Now satellite and acceleration day by day in technology finds it hard put then to remain standing still, and that which is the latest today is almost out of league with the tomorrow. In these realizations, beloved, notice also this, that you are becoming more and more of self as you merge with your Holy Christ self, not just once in a while, but hour by hour and 24 hours a day, walking with that very special teacher. Beloved ones, there is no such thing as a carbon copy of the Holy Christ self. Each one's Holy Christ self is totally and utterly unique. Therefore, you might think that there is a long line of cut-out soldiers coming together and coming apart like an accordion, but it is not so. Your Holy Christ self has a very special personality. That personality comes from long manifestation of being the Christ in action. Thus, beloved, you have unique talents. Those talents come from your Holy Christ self and from your labors in the field of this civilization and the planetary home. Realize then how different you are one from the other, and yet how you may be the all in all as the universal one. Are we not then as molecules of light unique unto ourselves? And when we merge, do not we find then that togetherness whereby all of the individual molecules that make up that Christ presence, that also becomes then that peripheral manifestation that brings uniqueness everywhere throughout the cosmos, and for this reason the cosmos does expand. You have been told that many souls are waiting to enter into embodiment on earth. That need has never been greater, beloved. I call upon all of you, whether you will ever be parents, whether you have been parents, I ask you then to perfect the Christhood within you, so that you may receive souls who are fragmented, who are burdened, who are sorrowing, who are carrying levels that go back thousands of years of sorrow which they have not reconciled. Blessed ones, you have come to the altar where the flame of the Ark of the Covenant does burn. It is focused in the great quartz that you find at the feet of the lower figure in the chart. That manifestation is the chalice of the flame of the Ark of the Covenant, and it is by sponsorship of the Great White Brotherhood and the lineage under which you serve that that flame has been placed here in King Arthur's court. That flame then burns here at the crossroads of the etheric octave. That flame burns on, beloved, and when you come to the court and you meditate upon that flame and that chaliced crystal, understand what it means for that flame to be alive and well on planet Earth. You will recall when Sanat Kumara came, there was scarcely an individual that had a threefold flame. And so Sanat Kumara reignited flames one by one. That is what is happening when you come to this altar and when you drink in the great elixir of that sacred fire. I then speak to you of your ability to self-transcend, to meet the challenges of the day, to balance the levels of the day, those of good karma, those of bad karma, then to gather all momentums of light and beauty and consciousness and reverence and love for one another, and to see that intensification, to see the intensification of light within you, and know that as you balance karma, there is a parallel line where you might also walk the way of El-Morya, of the great adepts, of those who have brought us to this point in time and space. What I am saying, beloved, is that you can balance karma mightily. You can accelerate also in your own personal adeptship, in your own personal striving for greater and greater self-mastery. You do not need to wait until you are on the other side or until you have balanced 100% of your karma. This is the eternal now, and the eternal now has many facets of consciousness, many bright quartz crystals, if you will, carrying tremendous light to the earth and especially to your very own hearts. Think then not so much linearly, but think in terms of expanding spheres of consciousness, centered in the strength of your heart chakra and your holy Christ self, and going out in mighty spheres, increasing and increasing and increasing. Blessed ones, I am grateful to be with you on this day of the celebration of my ascension. I give to you, as you are able to receive, my mantle. I ask you to claim my mantle daily. I ask you to know me and to know my holy Christ self, to know us as one, and yet to know the individual in Christ as an identity also separate. Beings of light, descend now from your I am presence. I am grateful for much accomplishment, much sacrifice, a tremendous amount of work that has gone into the restructuring of this community. Because you have performed this work and shall continue to perform it, beloved, this Church universal and triumphant will endure for many, many, many centuries to come, yea, even until the hour of the fulfillment of the reason for being of planet Earth. Setting then this momentum, setting this avenue that reaches almost to infinity, you can realize that whereas had you stayed with the old momentums and the old thought forms, you might not be here for any more than numbers of years. Having grasped, understood, internalized, and been willing to follow your leader in this path, you now have the opportunity to see the fruits of your labors be multiplied again and again and again. As I am seated here, I look at the endless highway, and this endless highway, beloved, leads to the throne of Alpha and Omega. You are building bridges to the great central sun. You are building bridges to the sun of Helios and Vesta. Yes, you are building bridges to the heart of your holy Christ self. This blessed disciplinarian keeps after you, beloved, for he knows what you must do in order to have your victory. Listen to that still small voice, for it is not so still or small at all. It sounds like thunder within the ear, and indeed it is, for your holy Christ self is stern with you, compelling you to shed those substances not of the light, and to enter into that bonding, that sacred bonding that will never be undone, the bonding of your soul to your holy Christ self, whereby you shall gain immortality. As I return to this place, or wherever you may be in the world, I shall remember and I shall remind you that we are about our Father's business. Remember then the ancient days of Atlantis. Remember when you walked and talked in the person of your holy Christ self, for that was the high attainment of the golden age of Atlantis, and especially of priests and priestesses who served in the temples there, many of these being among you. Realize then that there was a golden age but 11,500 years ago, and that golden age went down, beloved, and it has not been regained. The nation closest to that is the United States of America, having been sponsored by Saint Germain since the birth of this country. It is for this presence of Saint Germain in the land that there is a peculiar people, a people who desire to enter into the Godhead, to attain union, who do not fear to walk alone through the capstone of the pyramid, and to enter into eternity, having fully balanced their karma, moving on then into cosmic cycles. Thus, beloved, take the opportunity, turn your world around so that you can turn around the world at large. All of this is within your reach and your grasp. Remember, your real self is your mighty I Am presence. Your true self is your holy Christ self. Therefore, draw down that power, wisdom, and love, and know the victory of your soul swiftly. I bow to the light within you, to all who hear me throughout the world, because of Saint Germain's technology. I bow to all of you, beloved. Know that we are tightening, and we no longer go by the spider's web, but by mighty cords of light that tie us together. Truly, we are one. I seal you in my heart, beloved, with all the magnanimity that I may send your way. I place my arms around you, around the world, around every light bearer and child and babe in arms. Yes, I come, beloved, and I am here solely because you yourselves are here. For this I thank you. I bid you adieu. Hail, keepers of the flame! You have come to this place, and well may it be said, your choices are true and right. Therefore I welcome to my heart this night all of you throughout the world who have tuned in to this glorious moment. Therefore we salute those who are here and those who are throughout the world, from Albuquerque, Bergen, Norway, Boise, Idaho, Boston, Massachusetts, Bozeman, Montana, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Calgary, Chicago, Dayton, Denver, Detroit, Helsinki, Finland, Indianapolis, Livingston, London, England, Los Angeles, McAllen, Minneapolis, Montreal, New York City, North Glastonbury, Oklahoma City, Ottawa, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Pittsburgh, Portland, Reno, Sacramento, Salt Lake City, San Antonio, San Diego, San Francisco, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Seattle, South Glastonbury, St. Louis, Missouri, Toronto, Canada, and Washington, D.C. My beloved Chelas, well do you understand the meaning of your presence here, and that understanding that I am about to impart to you shall give you, as at no other time in this history of the organization, an understanding of your path that is so specific and so revealing of that which you have given and that which you shall continue to give, that you might have the victory of your ascension. Therefore I speak of that victory in this hour, beloved, and I announce to you from the Darjeeling Council and from this very podium that this day your beloved Linello has completed the 100% balance of his karma. Mighty indeed is the pathway to the ascension, beloved, and happy are ye who are content to walk in this path. Those of you who have so walked shall find yourselves day after day, year after year, decade after decade, coming closer and closer to that point of victory. Now I ask you to be seated. The hour has come for many to be acknowledged in this community, those who have tarried long throughout many incarnations and thousands of years of Earth's schoolroom. Beloved ones, I speak to you of this Guru-Chela relationship, for many of you had stalwart hearts and great focuses of the manger scene already within your hearts thousands of years ago. But beloved ones, it has come to pass that there were centuries upon centuries when you did not have the full teaching that you have this day, and the even greater teaching that is to come. So, beloved, when you found this activity and this path, as you have looked for it all over the world, you have known that you must find this place, this very place where you might connect with God, know that acceleration. And when you came, beloved, you learned of the violet flame. You learned of the power of dynamic decrees. You learned of the path of transmutation, service, selflessness, love. The full power of all of this has come upon you because you persevered until you finally found that place of the manger scene where the Christ child was a-borning in your hearts. And then you knew that above all you would find the entire road back home wide open to you. So, beloved, we are determined this night, we of the Darjeeling Council, to present to you members of this community who have made tremendous strides by their service and their path. This then I bring to you that you might realize just what great attainment is possible to every single light bearer upon earth. And therefore those of you who have made that contact with the flame of the Ark of the Covenant on this altar, I bid you go out into the world and circle the planet round and return again, going out and coming in again and again and again, until every last light bearer in this century and in centuries to come may know that path, may have that path, and may have that victory. Therefore, it is the vote of the entire Darjeeling Council this night to acknowledge those of you who have made tremendous strides on the path. Let us begin first with the history of those who have made their ascension. Some of you have heard these names, some of you have not, but we honor them this night, even as we shall honor many of you who are in the court. The first ascension of a light bearer coming out of this organization was Persis McDonald. She ascended with 57% of her karma balanced. The next individual, Clara Louise Kinninger, balanced 90% of her karma and made her ascension. Beulah Haney, the Lady Beatitude, made her ascension having balanced 62% of her karma. Mark Prophet made his ascension having balanced 71% of his karma. Jenny Cree made his ascension having balanced 68% of his karma. And his wife, Iva Cree, made the ascension with 53% of her karma balanced. Beloved Ruth Jones made her ascension with 68% of her karma balanced. Her husband, Sidney Jones, balanced his karma and made his ascension with 67% balanced. Leon Chagnon made his ascension having balanced 73% of his karma. Florence Jeanette Miller made her ascension having balanced 65% of her karma. George Lancaster made his ascension having balanced 65% of his karma. Marguerite Baker made her ascension having balanced 60% of her karma. Helen McDonald made her ascension having balanced 53% of her karma. Marguerite Wurtzbaugh made her ascension having balanced 54% of her karma. Mary Lou Majerus, Lady Master Mary Lou, made her ascension having balanced 61% of her karma. Warren Carter made his ascension having balanced 54% of his karma. Alice Boscow, Lady Master Alice, balanced 78% of her karma before making her ascension. Ruth Hawkins balanced 61% of her karma and made her ascension. Ruth Farnham balanced 79% of her karma and made the ascension. Patricia Johnson balanced 54% of her karma and made her ascension. And Carol Hedgepeth balanced 70% of his karma. Ella Amber ascended having balanced 55% of her karma. Helen Reese made the ascension having balanced 60% of her karma. And Paul O'Neill made his ascension having balanced 77% of his karma. Thank you. Please be seated. I trust that all of you stand as initiates throughout the world, keepers of the flame who are on this patch, and those of you who are in this center. Therefore, I take the liberty, I, El-Morya, take this liberty to announce to candidates for the Ascension that are coming out of this mystery school, Maitriya's mystery school, and this community of the Holy Spirit. These individuals that I shall report to you on have varying degrees of balancing of karma, and they are being given the opportunity to know this night, as I speak to you, how much karma they have balanced and how much karma they have to go. This is a tremendous boon, beloved, to know how much work you must give in order to have at least 51% at the hour of your ascension. I trust then that you will one and all receive this, and that you may also know that each individual from time to time during the darshan will have that opportunity, but in lesser numbers. This evening, the Darjeeling Council then gives to you these readings on individuals in this community who have been with the messengers some 10, 20, 30, and more years of service. Most of these individuals balanced their karma because they found the path, followed it with diligence, and were willing to bend the knee and cast out the dweller on the threshold of human pride. Thus I shall begin. The first candidate for the Ascension, Margaret Pemberton. She has balanced 68% of her karma. She wears the cape of the Chela. She is also wearing El-Morya's ring. We bow to the light within you, Margaret. Please be seated. The second candidate, Ruth Bolton. Beloved Ruth, please stand. There you are. I ask you to withhold your applause until I have given everything to that candidate. Remain standing, please, Ruth. This information is given to you, each one, as I have said, because the Darjeeling Council wants you to know where you stand. Where you stand, beloved Ruth Bolton, there is a perpetual thought form of an eagle soaring to the sun over you. It is the background like a halo. You, beloved Ruth, have balanced 71% of your karma, and you're still going strong. Carl Showalter, please stand. Beloved Carl, you have balanced 65% of your karma. When you make your ascension, you will be working directly with beloved Lanello. Please be seated. Beloved Celeste Hewlett, please stand. There you are. Right back there. Can everyone see her? Will you all look at Celeste? Beloved Celeste, you have balanced 61% of your karma. You completed 51% in this embodiment and earned an additional 10%, a total of 61% balanced karma. Congratulations. Beloved Reverend Denise Booth, please stand. Beloved Anise, Serapis Bey is standing behind you, his perpetual presence. You have recently balanced 51% of your karma, and that figure very recently jumped to 61%. You have balanced 61% of your karma, beloved Anise. Dr. Marilyn Barrett, please stand. Beloved Marilyn, you have balanced 60% of your karma. God is pleased, and the light of illumination smiles upon you. Chila of Kuthumi. Beloved Louise Faith, please stand. Beloved Louise, you have balanced 59% of your karma. Congratulations. Be seated. Grace Johnson, please stand. Grace Johnson, you have balanced 56% of your karma. As you all know, any percentage above 51% gives you the opportunity to make your ascension. God bless you for your service. Congratulations. seated. James Pollard, beloved James, please stand. James, you have balanced 56% of your karma. You are a bright star in the firmament. God bless you. Beloved Jean Allison, please stand. I thought suddenly you might be on phone duty. El-Morya is saying that you have a very blue ray. You've balanced 55% of your karma and you will ascend in this life. Congratulations. You'll have to be our cosmic switchboard operator. Beloved Therese Bowers, please stand. God bless you, Therese. You have balanced 53% of your karma. You are a stoic servant of God, and Mother Mary is your sponsor. God bless you. Beloved Virginia Wood, please stand. Here you are. You have balanced 52% going on 53% of your karma. God bless you. Beloved Jean Bowers, please stand. There we are. It's very bright up here. Beloved Jean, it gives me great joy to announce to you that you have balanced 52% of your karma. Forrest Robinson, please stand. Beloved Forrest, it gives me great joy to tell you that you are an angel from Serapis Bands, and you have balanced 52% of your karma, which means anything above 51%, you can make your ascension. Beloved Ruth Setti, please stand. Beloved Ruth, you have balanced 52% of your karma, and when you ascend, you will serve with the Ascended Lady Master Nada. Betty Pinnell, please stand. Beloved Betty, it gives me great joy to announce to you that you have balanced 51% of your karma, and that when you are called to make your ascension, you will be working with Florence Jeanette Miller, the Ascended Lady Master Christine. Our beloved sister Mary Rebecca, please stand. Beloved Mary Rebecca, you have balanced 51% of your karma and you will ascend in this life. Beloved Marinus Jacobs, please stand. Beloved Marinus, you have balanced 50% going on to 51% of your karma, thus giving you the option of taking your ascension in this life. Beloved Leola Bergeson, please stand. Beloved Leola, you have balanced 51% of your karma. You have endured the fire in order to make your ascension. Beloved Clifford Merrill, please stand. Sweetheart. Beloved Clifford, you have balanced 50% of your karma, and you are quite capable of balancing the additional 1% to make it 51 to make your ascension. Beloved Barbara Hopkins, please stand. Barbara, you have balanced 49% going on 50% of your karma. Accelerate, you'll have the 51% and beyond. Plenty of time for more. Beloved Judith Younger, please stand. Beloved Judith, you have balanced 49% of your karma, going on to 50%. Your service is on the third ray, and you can transcend those numbers many times over for a full life ahead of you. God bless you. Beloved Constance Hewitt. Beloved Constance, you have balanced 49% of your karma. Keep on keeping on. You can make it. Beloved Francis McPherson, please stand. Beloved Francis, you have balanced 49%. El-Morya wants you to anchor yourself in the physical quadrant of God reality, God vision, and God victory. You have a definite opportunity to ascend if you master the physical quadrant, and I'm absolutely certain that you shall. Beloved Paul Quintero, please stand. You have balanced 49% of your karma. If you would like me to counsel with you on how you can accelerate even faster, I would be glad to see you privately. The Lords of Karma have granted you your ascension in this life, and you could very well reach that 51% level by using the violet flame to overcome all burdens that you have carried in the past. May you have your victory. You absolutely have the ability to do so. God bless you. Beloved Shirley DeShazo, please stand. Shirley, it gives me great joy to announce to you that you have balanced 48% of your karma. You're already moving into the 49%. Therefore, KO, keep on keeping on. Beloved Peggy Keithley, you have balanced 48% of your karma. Your personal challenge is to consume around you and in others all gossip and gossip entities. By doing Astrayas, reverse the tides, dweller calls, and violet flame, you have a tremendous ability to reach that 51% and to keep right on. And I'm very proud of you. Beloved Kathleen Leinard, beloved Kathleen, you have balanced 48% of your karma. El-Morya says to work on the blue plume and on the intensification of your crown chakra. Meditate on the crown chakra, do yellow decrees, and always see the Buddha before and above you. Congratulations. Beloved Esther Buckland, please stand. You have balanced 48% of your karma. You could have balanced more by now by just believing in yourself, in God, and persevering. Now I want to tell you officially that you absolutely can make your ascension, go after this with a total vengeance, clear up that karma, produce that 51% for Morya. You will balance your 51% in this life, and I'll be right there to make sure you do. Beloved Margaret Glenn, please stand. Beloved Margaret, you have balanced 40% of your karma, and you will make your ascension if you choose to do so. You have to make that choice and go for it with great intensity. You need to make a heroic effort to come out of yourself and into God. We all need that. Out of ourselves and into God. That's the key to your ascension. God bless you. Beloved Edith Wilkins, please stand. Beloved Edith, you have balanced 47% of your karma. You need to balance the blue and the yellow plumes through intense service and intense decree work. You can surely make it in this life. God bless you. Beloved Nancy Holton, please stand. God bless you, Nancy. You have balanced 47% of your karma. As of today, you will commence a difficult period of testing and Chilaship. Hold on to Morya and you will triumph. Cut yourself free from sympathetic ties. Come spring, fast, purge and purify, and walk in the footsteps not only of El-Morya, but all of the Blue Ray Masters, and you can have your victory. God bless you. Beloved Urbana, please stand. You have balanced 47% of your karma. El-Morya says you need to be more aggressive in your service to spread the word. This is your karma, and you need to fulfill it by spreading the teachings. You have balanced that 47%, and you can easily make the rest and go beyond it. Just charge and charge and charge. God bless you. Beloved Marilyn Boschel, please stand. Marilyn, you have balanced 46% of your karma. You need to work on the will of God, the blue plume, and the Blue Ray Masters. You must trust and obey not only the Blue Ray Masters, but your inner Christ self and your inner voice. Be more aggressive in striving for your ascension. This is why El-Morya had me do this evening, because if you don't know where you are, then you don't know whether you should strive or not. And so this dispensation of El-Morya is so that we will all know that we can accelerate. We know we are going for that mark of the 51%, and we know that we can do it. We know all kinds of ways to serve and balance karma. And then, because we've gotten that far, we can go on and make it all the way home to that 100%. And so this is what I believe Lanella was speaking of, how long an arduous journey it is when you have to make your ascension from the etheric octave. It is so much easier to do it here below because of all the service that you can give. So God bless you, and accelerate and get on fire for your victory. Virginia Mart, please stand. Virginia, you've balanced 45%, almost 46%. And El-Morya gives you a reminder that you are here to serve the messengers and the Great White Brotherhood. Constancy in your service is a requirement for your ascension. The quality of the heart will be the determining factor. So let your heart blossom and love all whom you meet and give that love perpetually. That is a requirement for your victory. It's a requirement for everyone's victory, but especially yourself. Learn to love yourself deeply and love others and get that victory for El-Morya. Beloved Carlinda Papilli, please stand. Carla, you've balanced 43% of your karma. You must work on an inner sorrow that you have held from many embodiments. You can cure it with therapy and violet flame. Go after it, claim your victory. Don't you dare leave this planet without that 51%. Beloved Susan Kindig, please stand. Beloved Susan, you've balanced 42% of your karma. You need to master the yellow axis of the cosmic clock, 2, 5, 8, and 11. Study the Old and New Testaments and the teachings of Buddha and Lao Tzu. You can make it. Just accelerate, rev up your engine, go for it. You can get to that 51%. God bless you. I would like to talk to all of you this evening about my experiences in finally achieving the balance of 100% of my karma. I found through the years that I would balance karma and balance it mightily, and then I would do something else, and I would have to pay debts for what I had done, which were not in keeping with the standards that El-Morya expects when we go beyond the 51%. So I learned by trial and error exactly what this game is all about. And the game is all about being centered in the heart, balancing the threefold flame, increasing a tremendous love of the heart, which begets patience, endurance, and walking many, many miles with people. I realized that without realizing it, I would make karma, and I would then balance karma, and then I would make karma, and I would balance karma. And I finally came to the realization that, of course, I could not do this. And this is where each one of us is tonight. The reason that many others of you have not been called is that El-Morya wanted to reach those who are of the age of 60 and above, to give you who are of that age and time plenty of opportunity to achieve what you have set out to do, which is the victory of your ascension. You should not be satisfied with the 51%. You should just wipe your brow and say, I've made it at the 51%. Now you can go out the next day, and if you're not careful, you can lose a 0.5%, which might have taken you 2 to 5 years to earn. So it's very, very costly to get out of alignment. This is why for years and years our beloved El-Morya, beloved Kuthumi, Jesus, Saint Germain, and others have said again and again and again, go into therapy, do the workshops, study your psychology, so that you don't come to that point where you have no tools with which to deal with anger, sorrow, all types of feelings that we might carry that are below the level of the heart, sorrow, burdens, deep burdens, records, and so forth. If we are not continually engaged in transmutation, we may come to the place where we cannot hold our own and where we will lose ground. So you mustn't lose ground. You must take absolute advantage of the opportunity you have. I have learned a great deal in studying and teaching you the Masters in the Path. I have come to realize the very subtleties of when we are right there in the heart of the Master and when we can be 1/100th of an inch off, to the left, to the right, depending on whether we've balanced our threefold flame, depending on whether we are diligent daily to protect ourselves from sudden lashes of the sinister force, sudden manifestations, and we are not prepared because we're not centered in our chakras. And so we may be pulled sympathetically, we may be pulled through anger, we may be pulled by many, many conditions that simply are a part of daily living and daily being tested. God has a right to test us, and we have a right to be tested. We want to be tested because we want to know where we are on the path. So please do not underestimate my words on this subject, because it is very, very true. I have had the opportunity to look at records of various individuals for various reasons in and out of this community. And with great chagrin, I have seen that those who've not been in therapy, not worked on themselves, do not understand their own emotions, their own records, their own feelings, how these people can, through striving and heroic deeds and tremendous service to the brotherhood, can yet turn around, and because they are not in control of their emotions, they lose what they have gained. I've seen people lose as many as 20%. I've seen people earn the 51% and lose it again and again. Now this is a tragedy beyond tragedies, because when one has come to that 51%, it's like one has swam the channel, the English Channel, and made it across. Well, you might not make it back again, but if you do it right the first time and you keep on increasing those levels, you have that momentum going. We are just about to finish the book, The Masters in the Path. We have but a chapter or so left. And I think what we should take from it is how serious is everything that we do, everything that we think, all of our interactions. And one of the good mottos that we find is to say, what would Jesus do under this circumstance? Jesus sent the money changers out of the temple, saying that this was a house of God, and you have made it a house, a den of thieves. There are always choices, and many such choices are extremely difficult. Sometimes someone asks us to help them when we must say no because we know they must help themselves, and it would not do them any good to help them. At other times we know that we must do for others. We feel it and we do it. So I think that those of you who I have named, who are to the level of 60 years old, knowing where you are on the path is possibly the most single important gift that God could give to you in this entire lifetime. To know where you are. It's like being lost in a big city and trying to figure out where am I and how am I going to get where I'm going. That's how it feels when you don't have a sense of co-measurement of how much karma you have earned and how much karma you have had to earn again and again because of just getting out of alignment and not appreciating that every time you get out of an alignment, you are going to lose points. There's just no question about it. So this means we put on that tube of light every morning, get out that sword and have it handy and sharpened, and have it in its scabbard and protected, of course, from children, to go after the binding of the dweller the moment you awaken, starting a new day, clearing that day by early morning decrees. It's a tremendous way to start the day, and it gives you that protection that says, come what may, if someone comes along and drops something on your head, somebody comes along and decides to do you in, you already have that protection on. And that's why we say, start your decrees the minute you wake up, get in the shower, and be doing those fiats, because you never know when that force is waiting for you. And then along comes an angel of light and deposits at your doorstep each morning that bag of karma that you must transmute for that day. Now that bag of karma may be extremely complex. I think we've all entered days thinking this is going to be a great day, and then 1,001 things come upon us and we can hardly believe that we're going to get through that day. Well, what really happens in this situation is, Jesus said, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, and we translate that to mean sufficient unto the day is the karma thereof. So each day, God gives us a bundle of karma that we can balance because we know the violet flame, because we can give our decrees, and because we have a certain amount of attainment of having done this for a long time. Now comes along, suddenly, out of the past, somewhere on Atlantis 10,000 years ago, this other big bundle of karma comes down in addition to today's karma. Now, if we are only transmuting today's karma, then when do we transmute the karma that goes back 10, 20, 30,000 years? Well, of course, if we're going to make our ascension, we have to do today's karma and the karmic bundle that one of the Manus, or one of the great beings of light, has sent to us. And that being says to us, okay, you're equipped to deal with today's karma, but it's not enough. We have to give you this other huge boulder of karma right down in front of you, and you will have to deal with that too. And it may be difficult, it may be intense, it may be overwhelming, but if you don't do both, you won't make your ascension. You have to clean up the karma of the ancient past, and ancient karma is very strange. You don't see it for thousands of years, this karma. And all of a sudden, at the most inconvenient time of your life, when you're all ready to have this great project, you're all ready to get married, you're already start a business, you know, everything's going just great, and what happened? This great calamity fell. Well, imagine people in the world who have no idea what to do of this circumstance, and they get more and more burdened. The economy of the money they have is not great. Maybe they're on welfare. Maybe they don't eat the right food. Maybe they have 6 children. Maybe they have only themselves to take care of those 6 children. I mean, people are seeing that they are coming upon tremendous karma at this time. Not knowing what it is, not having the law, only taking the pablum of Christianity's version of Jesus' teaching. This leaves people in a sense of despair and hopelessness. Enter the Chelas of El-Morya, and we go forth to the nations, we go forth to the world, and we in our meetings and in our stumps explain, this is why this is happening to you. This is how you can avoid it. This is how you can protect yourself. This is how you can balance karma by using every spare momentum to give violet flame decrees, plus serving your neighbor, loving your neighbor, and following the precepts of Gautama and Jesus. So those who come to our stumps who do not have this understanding, they're like Mark used to say, flotsam and jetsam. They're just bouncing on the tides of the sea, going wherever the sea takes them. We are directed and self-directed Chelas of the Ascended Masters, and that is what makes all the difference. I do not know what the respective karma was when each of you who stood this night came into this activity. Since I do not have those answers, I cannot give you those answers. But I can tell you that without a question, without a doubt, you have accelerated tremendously by being in this court, by serving, by loving God, and by internalizing the living word. So I have come to the very joyous place in my life that I realize that nothing is worth giving up an ounce of good karma that one has made. And therefore, one must be extremely careful of one's speech, one's absence of speech. In other words, when there is something unfair that is going on, when an injustice is happening, we don't just clam up. We quietly approach the situation and say, is there some way I can help this situation? So when we are on the spot and there is a tremendous burden to someone, an accident, a this, a that, an airplane, a drowning, all of us wind up in those predicaments many times. We are being tested. We don't walk away. We stay there until we've done every possible service that we could render. This is part of being the Good Samaritan. So the way you can lose the karma you have balanced thus far is to ignore a brother. Not to be that Good Samaritan, but to leave him lying in the road where thieves have left him. So when you start observing yourself, seeing what's going on around you, seeing who needs you, seeing who needs help, if you don't stop and take a few moments or minutes or even longer time for that person who is aching and sorrowing and in tremendous pain, you are walking away from someone who needed you. Maybe they didn't ask for help, but you were in their presence and you had the sensitivity to know that they were hurting deeply inside. So when we are on the path, we don't have to sign up to be Good Samaritans in Kuan Yin's chapel and get a little card every year, now I'm a Good Samaritan. We have to be Good Samaritans. In other words, we will make karma if we do not support those whom we see are in need of our help. So think about all of the ways that you can earn good karma through service, selfless service, not because you're motivated to increase the good karma, because that comes along by itself in any case. But to be motivated, to serve, to be there, to be ready, to get up in the morning and say, who will I meet today? Who will need me today? What kind of shape do I have to be in to help this person? Am I going to just be so busy that I cannot stop when someone really needs me? So think about all the ways you can make good karma. Think about all the ways how easily you can make bad karma. For instance, if you just take the little things we do in life, what do? We waste food tremendously. Our entire civilization wastes food. It's like a karma of the nation. You don't have to share that karma if you make certain that what you put on the table before your children, they eat it. We do not throw anything away, because this is a sin against God and the food that He has given us. So we consider that food holy, and we don't throw away mountains of food, as Americans are prone to do. So when you start thinking of the etheric body and what karma you can make or have made through the etheric octave, the mental body, the desire body, and the physical body. If you look at the 4 quadrants, each of those 4 quadrants represents karma you have made and karma you can balance. So yes, we have made karma at the level of the etheric octave. We've made it at the level of the mental, the desire body, and the physical. So we may have, let's say, great attainment in the etheric octave. We may have garnered that attainment for thousands of years. We may have kept our etheric body and our heaven world free of all contamination, because we walk and talk with the saints out of the body at night, and this is our home of light, and that is where we shine at the highest levels of perfection, in that etheric quadrant and the first half of the etheric quadrant on the cosmic clock, the section at the point of 1:30. So You can contaminate the etheric octave with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your actions, with your non-actions. Suddenly, you become totally aware that whatever you do is either going to contribute to humanity, to people near you, to people far from you, or it's going to detract, deter, and cause a negative interchange and a negative manifestation in the earth. So some of us have made more karma in one or the other of these quadrants. So the more we think about this, the more we do what El-Morya has told us, Gautama Buddha has said, all the masters have said, self-observe. Observe yourself. What are you thinking right now? Where are your thoughts? Where is your sense of attunement with God? Are you letting yourself sink into nonsensical sentences that really don't put together, don't create anything, or just kind of a garbled verbiage that's coming out of the mind but really isn't leading you into very clear, directed lines? This is why I'm saying that when I read the Masters in the Path, it immediately made me extremely aware of everything I am, everything I must do, everything in me, and say to myself, is this honorable? Is this the right action to take? Am I doing right by this person? And you keep on doing that. It's self-observation. You observe, what is your mood? Do you feel sad? Are you letting the levels of your mood of sadness take you down into the solar plexus area, where now the solar plexus becomes vulnerable because you've let your sadness go down to its lowest common denominator, the level of the solar plexus? Or other emotions and feelings of all kinds, irritability, jealousy, this, that, the next thing. Every thought we think is registered. What we make the most karma with is what we do in the physical octave, because it has the maximum consequences for us, for the other person, or for thousands of people that we failed to reach because we didn't get that booklet out, we didn't get this out in time, we missed it, we missed a calling, and so forth. So on a community level, keepers of the flame throughout the world share this Antakarana, this spider web. And whoever is the weakest link tends to bring it down. Whoever is the highest link tends to draw it up. We are part, all of us, when we are part of El-Morya's bands, we are a part of that great Antakarana through which we serve. I'm going to read you a little bit from the Masters on the Path that talks about this subject. This has to do with the tutelage of the Master Kuthumi. It has been part of my task for many years to endeavor to train along the right lines any young person whom the Master regards as hopeful. He brings them in contact with me on the physical plane and usually gives brief directions as to what qualities he wants developing in them and what instruction should be given to them. Naturally, he, in his infinite wisdom, does not deal with these younger brains and bodies exactly as with those of older people. In the case of elder people put upon probation, they are left to a large extent to find the most suitable work for themselves. But with the younger people, he sometimes quite definitely puts a piece of work in the way of one of them and watches to see how he does it. He condescends sometimes to give special messages of encouragement and instruction to individuals among these young people, and even to give advice as to their training. Extracts from some of those messages are given here. Advice from the Master. I know that your one object in life is to serve the Brotherhood, yet do not forget that there are higher steps before you, and that progress on the path means sleepless vigilance. You must not only be always ready to serve, you must be ever watchful for opportunities, nay, making opportunities to be helpful in small things, in order that when the greater work comes, you may not fail to see it. Never for a moment forget your occult relationship. It should be an ever-present inspiration to you, not only a shield from the fatuous thoughts which float around us,
but a constant stimulus to spiritual activity. The vacuity and pettiness of ordinary life should be impossible for us, though not beyond our comprehension and compassion. The ineffable bliss of adeptship is not yet yours, but remember that you are already one with those who live that higher life. You are dispensers of their sunlight in this lower world, so you too, at your level, must be radiant sons of love and joy. The world may be unappreciative, uncomprehending, but your duty is to shine. Do not rest on your oars. There are still higher peaks to conquer. The need of intellectual development must not be forgotten, and we must unfold within ourselves sympathy, affection, tolerance. Each must realize that there are other points of view than his own, and that they may be just as worthy of attention. All coarseness or roughness of speech, all tendency to argumentativeness must absolutely disappear. One who is prone to it should check himself when the impulse towards it arises. He should say little, and that always with delicacy and courtesy. Never speak without first thinking whether what you are going to say is both kind and sensible. He who tries to develop love within himself will be saved from many mistakes. Love is the supreme virtue of all, without which all other qualifications water but the sand. Thoughts and feelings of an undesirable kind must be rigorously excluded. You must work at them until they are impossible to you. Touches of irritability ruffle the calm sea of the consciousness of the brotherhood. The whole brotherhood is ruffled by these touches of irritability. Pride must be eliminated, for it is a serious bar to progress. Exquisite delicacy of thought and speech is needed, the rare aroma of perfect tact, which can never jar or offend. That is hard to win, yet you may reach it if you will. Definite service and not mere amusement should be your aim. Think not what you want to do, but what you can do that will help someone else. Forget about yourself and consider others. A pupil must be constantly kind, obliging, helpful, not now and then, but all the time. Remember, all time which is not spent in service or fitting yourself for service is for us lost time. When you see certain evils in yourself, take them in hand manfully and effectively. Persevere, and you will succeed. It is a question of willpower. Watch for opportunities and hints. Be efficient. I am always ready to help you, but I cannot do the work for you. The effort must come from your side. Try to deepen yourself all around and to live a life of utter devotion to service. You have done well, but I want you to do better yet. I have tested you by giving you opportunities to help, and so far you have taken them nobly. I shall therefore give you more and greater opportunities, and your progress will depend upon your recognizing them and availing yourself of them. Remember that the reward of successful work is always the opening out before you of more work, and that faithfulness in what seem to you small things leads to employment in matters of greater importance. I hope that you will soon draw closer to me, and in so doing will help your brothers along the path which leads to the feet of the King. Be thankful that you have a great power of love, that you know how to flood your world with sunlight, to pour yourself out with royal prodigality, to scatter largesse like a king. That indeed is well, but take care lest in the heart of this great flower of love there should be a tiny touch of pride, which might spread as does an almost invisible spot of decay until it has tainted and corrupted the whole blossom. Remember what our great brother has written. Be humble if thou wouldst attain to wisdom. Be humbler still when wisdom thou hast mastered. Cultivate the modest, fragrant plant, humility, until its sweet aroma permeates every fiber of your being. When you try for unity, it is not enough to draw the others into yourself, to enfold them with your aura, to make them one with you. To do that is already a long step, but you must go yet further and make yourself one with each of them. You must enter into the very hearts of your brothers and understand them. Never from curiosity, for a brother's heart is both a secret and a sacred place. One must not seek to pry into it or discuss it, but rather endeavor reverently to comprehend, to sympathize, to help. It is easy to criticize others from one's own point of view. It is more difficult to get to know them and love them, but that is the only way to bring them along with you. I want you to grow quickly, that I may use you in the great work. To help you in that, I give you my blessing. Daughter, you have done well in exercising your influence to civilize as far as may be the rougher elements around you, and to help another pure soul upon her way to me. That will be ever a bright star in your crown of glory. Continue your help to her, and see whether there be not other stars which you can presently add to that crown. This good work of yours has enabled me to draw you closer to me far earlier than would otherwise have been the case. There is no more certain method of rapid progress than to devote oneself to helping others upon the upward path. You have been fortunate, too, in meeting a comrade from of old, for two who can really work together are more efficient than if they were putting forth the same amount of strength separately. You have begun well. Continue to move along the same line with swiftness and certainty. I welcome you, the latest recruit, to our glorious band. It is not easy for you to forget yourself entirely, to yield yourself without reservation to the service of the world. Yet that is what is required of us, that we should live only to be a blessing to others and to do the work which is given us to do. You have made a good beginning in the process of self-development, but much yet remains to be done. Repress even the slightest shade of irritability, and be ready always to receive advice and instruction. Cultivate humility and self-sacrifice, and fill yourself with a fervid enthusiasm for service. So shall you be a fitting instrument in the hand of the great Master, a soldier in the army of those who save the world. To help you in that, I now take you as a probationary pupil. I am pleased with you, but I want you to do more yet. For you, my child, you have the capacity of making rapid progress, and I want you to set this before yourself as an object which you are determined at all costs to achieve. Some of the obstacles which you are instructed to overcome may seem to you unimportant, but in reality they are not so, because they are the surface indications of an interior condition which must be altered. That means a radical change which it will not be easy for you to make, but the effort is well worth your while. The rules which I wish you to make for yourself are these. 1. Forget yourself and the desires of your personality, and remember only the service of others, devoting your strength, your thought, your enthusiasm wholly to that. 2. Do not offer an opinion on any matter unless directly asked for it. The point is, if you do offer an opinion that has not been asked for, it's easy to see that an argument could quickly ensue. Before speaking, always consider how what you say will affect others. 5. Never betray or comment upon a brother's weakness. 5. Remember that you have yet much to learn, and therefore may often be in error. So speak with becoming modesty. When called, move at once, not waiting to finish what you happen to be reading or doing. If you are performing a duty of importance, explain very gently what it is. I wish to draw you closer to me, and if you will keep these rules, I shall soon be able to do so. Meantime, my blessing rests upon you. So these are young people who came under the tutelage of the masters. This is the final reading. It's just a paragraph, a long one. Avoid all personal feeling, pride most of all. Distrust profoundly all glorification of the individual. For ambition is the first curse, and the power which the disciple shall covet is that which shall make him appear as nothing in the eyes of men. Be humble if thou wouldst attain to wisdom. Be humbler still when wisdom thou hast mastered. He who forgets himself utterly and devotes his life wholly to the service of others will be saved thereby from many dangers. His heart will be pure as crystal, so that the light of the Logos may shine through it unsullied. His whole nature will respond so truly to the vibrations of his master that thoughts and messages from higher planes will flow through him undistorted, uncontaminated by any lower touch. So shall he serve our masters best by serving the humanity which they love. Most things are relative. I would like to conclude then with a brief statement on this relativity. When we see ourselves balancing 51% of our karma, we rejoice and we jump up and down and we say, what a blessing, what an achievement. Then comes the next hurdle. The next hurdle is the 49%. What the Ascended Masters have told me is that for certain people, as soon as they balance that 51%, they want to snatch them out of the world before they get into bigger trouble. That's the truth. That is not even a joke. It's the absolute truth. Because what the Ascended Masters give us, the first 51%, in its totality is easier to balance than the remaining 49%, which is the hardest. So many Ascended Masters have reached the level of the 100%. And where do we go from there? From there we go into spherical manifestations of being rather than linear manifestations. So if you have balanced 100% of your karma, you have worked at that for a considerable amount of time, centuries or thousands of years. It is a tremendous attainment. It means that when you make your ascension, you will not owe the earth anything because you have balanced that karma. But on the other hand, if you will look at this and remember it well, you are really at point zero. You are where you were when you left Maitreya's Mystery School, the original one, you see? So it's very exciting to have gotten as far as we have gotten. But my recordings of my live stream for the remaining 49% were the descent into hell. And in the levels of hell and death, in the deep levels thereof, I wrestled with fallen angels, demons, discarnates, all kinds of challenges to our church, to our organization. All of you know the endless years of press reporting that has not given us our due, and on and on and on. I have had to challenge individual chelas, whether on staff or around the world. I have wrestled with the principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places, wrestled with demons and fallen angels, and I can tell you that the second half, the 49%, is enormously challenging. It's like waging war night and day until you finally got beyond that 100%. So what happens when we get to that level? Well, we have to keep it. And as I said earlier, it is so easy to lose like 0.1%. And pretty soon you're not at 100% anymore. You're a 0.1% lower. So you can lose very easily when you're at the top of the mountain. Okay, so let's say we've all gotten past the top of the mountain. What happens next? What happens next is that you are at serious levels of personal mastery, personal adeptship, arhatship, and you are now beginning to build upon that perfected terrain that you have taken thousands of years to get to, that 100% balance of your karma. So that is the foundation, and from that level, you can have your springboard to victory, octave after octave after octave, except it's not these levels, it's these spheres going out and out and out, which is how we measure the causal bodies of, for instance, the Lord of the world. We know that he has a vast causal body. You go to mighty cosmos, you go to beings of the great central sun. Their causal bodies are so great that they contain entire galaxies. It just depends on how long you've been in heaven, and some of these beings have never touched Earth. They've never been contaminated. They were the first root races. They went back home, and they never compromised their path. So, on the one hand, we have a tremendous victory, and it is a great victory, and we're not going to gainsay it, and we're not going to say it isn't, because we know how hard we've worked for it, and we know that the Ascended Masters have not in any way coddled us. They have disciplined us, and if we have done wrong, we get our karma, and we have to go and turn around and balance that all over again until we get so tired of, it's like training a little mutt, you know. You put his little nose down and you say, you know, this is how it goes around here. And finally, after about 10 or 15 times, he knows he has to go outside, and, you know, that's the way life is. So here we are. I don't want you to rest on your laurels, but I do want you to know that the gift, that the victory that you have won has been hard won. You may think you know how hard it has been, but you do not have a recollection of how many thousands of years it took you to make the negative karma, and just what a triumph we're talking about. We're talking about a stupendous triumph, but we do not want to say we are going to stop here, even at the 100%. At that 100%, we are going to now develop our self-mastery. Tremendous self-mastery, tremendous rings upon rings of our causal body, and rings literally around our own four lower bodies, until we can walk the earth in the footsteps of El-Morya, Kuthumi, Dwal Kul, and the great masters of the last century who made their ascension in 1890, 91, 92, and so forth. That was the time of the ascension of these masters. They had great attainment before they made their ascension. They took that ascension, and we are the benefactors, for they have come back to help us. Of course, they have balanced 100% of their karma and much more, because they are the great adepts. So for them to come back and tarry with us, we who are their chelas, we owe them a profound debt of gratitude. And we should always remember this, that we really didn't get here without a tremendous amount of help, and that we should value what we have achieved as though every pound of it were gold ore that was hard won. Please do not lose, but win every day. That's my love and request to you, and that is El-Morya's message for this darshan and this February 26th celebration of the great victory of our Lanillo. Thank you. Fire when ready. Turn around. This is a painting of the mother of the Aquarian age, and it has been done by Marius George. May we see you, Marius? Will you go up to the painting? Will you go up to the painting? You're welcome to talk to us about this painting if you like. It expresses itself very well, but we're very happy to hear from the authors, the painters, and so forth.
This is a dream come true, Mother. I was dreaming about this opportunity for many years, and I'm a little overwhelmed, so I'm going to take a few minutes to gather my thoughts about what can I do. What can I say about this?
I also want to bring to your attention that Eduardo has directed the painting of this Mother of Aquarius. So this is a joint venture of Marius and Eduardo.
Everything started when we met at the summer conference this summer, and Eduardo commissioned a few paintings for a movie that he is working on. One of which is this painting, which recently was presented to Mother along with the whole project of the movie, and by God's grace, she was impressed with it, and she wanted to have it here in the court instead of the painting going to Mexico, where Eduardo comes from, and stay with us here in the chapel. It was a very beautiful experience to be able to be here for the last 12 days or so, doing little adjustments on the painting, so it would be brought to the level where it would represent what Mother had in mind about it. And I could say a few words about what I wanted to basically capture in that painting. My main goal was to be able to represent a being that is self-luminous, that has this inner light that emanates out, and I don't know if I was able to totally do that, but this was my greatest challenge in doing this.
It does look luminous. Very carefully done to subtly present that.
So I hope this is just a humble beginning of a long spiral of more opportunities to create more focuses of light for the Brotherhood, to continue this beautiful relationship of working with you, Mother, and all the artists that we have in our community, and people that